All right. Well, game two in the books. Wrap up show. Jim and Ben Fadden tonight because John's soft. I guess he has like a job or something. I don't know what that is, but whatever. Padres lose game two versus the Mets in New York. We go to a deciding game three tomorrow night. There'll be Joe Musgrove on the mound versus Chris Bassett for the Mets. Everyone get in on here. I have a feeling like tonight's going to get pretty tense, especially in the chat. Lot to talk about, even in a 7-3 game. Lots to talk about. So we're gonna do that. We'll be here for you for the next hour or so. Maybe John will stop by if he feels like it, but I don't know about that. So Ben, where do you want to start, man? I mean, there's a lot in this game. It's the longest. It feels like the longest game in postseason history. But where do you want to start, man?
Yeah, it's kinda hard to know where to start, I mean, maybe Snell, but I was kinda expecting him to
Let's start
not be
there.
perfect. We can start there?
Let's start
Okay.
there. Yeah, let's start there.
Um,
And by the way, if you guys are just joining us, John is actually working tonight. He does the pre, post, and halftime for the Aztecs. So he's not
yeah, it's three
slumming off
nothing right
doing
now.
nothing.
What a game.
Well, same score, same amount of runs as the Padres tonight.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, let's start with Blake Snell. And I put this on social media. Like, I didn't think Blake Snell was good tonight. I thought he was bad.
Mhm.
You can't tell me a guy that gave up 6 walks in 3 innings is good. Like, it just wasn't. And I see people on social media telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. He gave up only one earned run. Did he pitch like 7? Am I missing something here? Did he go like 7 innings? No, he didn't. He went
Right.
3 plus. Okay, his control was all over the place. You could tell from the very start of the game he did not have it. Snell, like, luckily, we talked before the show, Ben. Luckily, you'd had Blake Snell pitch game 2 instead of game 3, because if he pitched game 3, that would have been a disaster. So I didn't think Blake Snell pitched well tonight at all. I thought he reverted back to his first half Blake Snell. And I don't know what the reasoning was for why he was so bad tonight. Maybe it was because he couldn't get a grip on the ball because of the weather, maybe jitters. I don't know, but I thought he was not good tonight. And anybody that wants to tell me that he was because he only gave up one earned run, I would tell you to go watch more baseball.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and I agree. He was not good tonight, obviously. 6 walks, yeah, that's not good. And that's
That's a career
obviously
high
that
in the postseason and most ever for a Padres pitcher in a postseason game.
right, and that elevates the pitch count, and that allows, the Mets to feel much more confident, like, you're not gonna hit the zone consistently, they can just sit there, and that's kinda what happened tonight. What I will say about it is, though, if you were to tell me entering the game that Snell was gonna walk 6 guys and the Padres would be I think they were chasing 1 run at that time when he left,
Yeah.
I would've been okay. You have Nick Martinez coming into the game. He gave the home run, obviously, to Alonso, but I would've been okay with that. Obviously, the innings, I wouldn't have been okay with it, but just the situation, the amount of runs he gave up with how bad he was, I was fine with it. Um, Obviously, it got away there in the 7th inning. That's where everything turned to crap, so we can talk about that. But yeah, he was not good. 90 pitches, didn't make it through 4, obviously. Walked more guys than hits allowed. That's not
Hmm.
that's not good.
And, and
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 yeah,
you're right. Like, there is a part where you can say, if you told me before the game without giving me the rest of the box score, Blake Snell walked 6 guys, I'd be like, oh fuck. That
yeah,
would
exactly.
I was like, they'd be down 7-0 in the third inning.
Right.
Keeping it to 1 run, I'll give him that. But other than that, I can't give him much else credit. I can't give that outing tonight. Like, I can't say that outing was okay. It just wasn't. Like, there's a trickle down effect here. All right. Why was Morahone in the game at that situation? Well, Blake Snell won only 3, and they had to use Nick Martinez early on. So if Blake Snell gave you 6 of 2 runs, then you have Martinez in the 7th. You don't have Morahone in that situation. It's
Yeah, but
it's a
he's also
trickle down
facing
effect here.
lefties in that situation. Morhone, I think, was gonna pitch in today's game.
You're probably right, absolutely. And maybe it's the same result, but at the same time, maybe it's different. Maybe I just think that the trickle down effect after what Blake Snell did tonight, it played out in this game. And I'm not saying Snell cost them the game. He didn't. Okay. He did not cost this team the game. There's other things in this game that we'll talk about that
Right.
are maybe bigger than the overall Blake Snell outing. But just to start off, DeGrom was not great tonight. DeGrom was not great. And he went 6 and gave up 2. Snell, I just thought coming into tonight, if you could get 5 out of him, I would like that to me would be great. Anything less than that, it would have been a struggle,
So you were
And I know
expecting 5 innings, how many runs? Like, you would've been okay with 2
5 innings,
runs?
2 runs or less.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I that's
I wasn't expecting him to go, like, 6 or anything like that.
no, no, no,
Probably the
no.
5 range I would've been good with, but I also did, understand going into the game that Snell obviously can't have one of those bad innings, and I was expecting probably 3 walks, not 6, and so I knew that the pitch count was gonna be up there, and he wasn't gonna go, Darvish deep or anything like that. It was just disappointing that he couldn't get through 4 at least, and I was kinda
Right.
surprised that Manaea didn't get it in this game, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you might be looking at saving Mania for a
For what?
situation. I don't know. I don't want Mania in there in a
I don't
1-1
want him
game, do
in
you?
after Musgrove tomorrow in a one if you're having him pitch 1 inning tomorrow, like,
Oh, the
dude,
only
I
way
don't
the
know if I
only way Mania pitches tomorrow is if you are tied in the 12th inning.
yeah,
Like that to me is the only way Mania gets in a game is that if you are in the 12th and you've used up all your pitchers and you need a guy to go 3 innings. Like
right.
that's the only way Mania is pitching for you. I just look at tonight's Blake Snell outing and it wasn't good. I thought it wasn't good. I just did, and it wasn't the reason why they lost, but I just think that it was. I'll say this: after what he did in the second half, tonight was a very disappointing outing from Blake Snell.
Yes, yes.
Like it was just like after what he did to really, I mean, earn that game 2 start. Like you got to think about when he at one point this year he had an ERA in the mid fives,
Mhm.
right? It was not good. And so he had to work his way to earn this start in the postseason, and he absolutely earned it. No doubt about it. With his second half, it was unbelievable. He earned that game 2 start. Some people were thinking maybe even game 1. It's until Darvish was amazing, right? Like that's how good Blake Snell was in the second half. And it's just disappointing he went out there and he reverted right back to old Blake Snell, right back to a guy that can't find the strike zone, right back to a guy that's going to give you 3 innings max. And that to me is why tonight I thought was not good for Blake Snell.
Yeah, he
Thanks for
said,
getting in here, guys.
real quick
What you got?
here, I'm just seeing some quotes from Snell. He's just saying how he was frustrated with his release point on the fastball, couldn't find it for whatever reason. Walks are obviously pretty frustrating. He's just outside the zone,
Do you want to play that?
consistently, and
You want me to play
that's
that
I don't
right
have the
now?
audio. I don't have the audio.
I
It's
got
just
it.
do you have it?
I
Do you have
got
it?
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. Hold on here. All
He
right.
says, "I'm happy with how I battled."
Okay. All right. You see Blake Snell there? You see
I see
that?
Padres live. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, okay. All right, cool, 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 cool. Hold on. Here we go.
Uh, yeah, I mean, pretty frustrated with my release point on the fastball. I just couldn't find it for whatever reason. Uh, the walks, obviously, pretty frustrating. Outside of that, though, happy with how I battled. I didn't really have much tonight, uh, which is pretty frustrating, but yeah, just the walks. I mean, that's really what hurt me. Nemo had his 3 singles to left. And then hanging slider to Lindor down the middle that didn't move. Outside of that, yeah, just did the best I could with what I had, and just a tough night.
Look from the outside like there were a lot of close pitches early in the game that didn't go your way. Did it feel like that kind of got the pitch count up a little bit for you as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm throwing more strikes and I'll get more of the close pitches. I think that's probably what would have helped. I'm excited to watch the video, learn from it, see what I can do better. But yeah, just a tough one. Had to battle all night, but kept the team in it. Sucks that I only went 3 1/3, and the bullpen had to cover the rest, so that's pretty frustrating. But yeah, find a way to get better for the next one.
You mentioned the release point. Is that something that's just maybe adrenaline related? You're just rushing a little bit, or not necessarily?
I don't know. I'll figure it out. But it was just off. Like, I could feel it. Just even the inconsistency of the pitch. Like, I just couldn't locate it like I've been doing the last month or two. So I don't think adrenaline got to me. I think I was in a really calm state. I didn't think there's nothing to that. I felt really good. So yeah, just find it, work on it, clean it up by the next one, and I should be good.
At some point, you went to the curve quite a bit. Was the slider not working?
Yeah, it was just like it just wasn't sliding. It was just hanging. Even the last one that I threw to Nita, it was just like a backdoor hanging slider that I got lucky with. So I'll find it. I have an idea of what I was doing, but we'll work on it, figure it out, and then I'll have it back by the next game.
You say you didn't have your best stuff. At what point did you realize you didn't have it and realize you had to battle?
Yeah, in the bullpen, I had my best stuff. I mean, I was nasty in the bullpen today. But I think honestly, the first, because that was, 29 pitches? Yeah, I mean, I could kind of tell there. I was like, all right, we're going to have to battle. We're going to have to get in the zone more. But, yeah, early on I could tell, and I was like, all right, let's just battle, and let's try to just throw as many zeros as we can. And, yeah, so the walks probably are the highlight of what made me so mad today. The hits, I mean, there was one guy that hit me 3 times. Outside of that, pretty good. So let's limit the walks, and we'll be fine.
What is that like to be out there in this moment, this stage, having to battle without your best stuff? Like,
I mean, I'm good enough to where I should be able to go at least 5. So it's going to be a frustrating one. I mean, I'm not going to be able to sleep. I know that. But, yeah, it's frustrating, but got a good team here, and win one tomorrow and give me another opportunity to help us win another game.
All right. What do you think of that?
He was nasty in the bullpen.
Everyone's nasty. I'm nasty in the bullpen. You're nasty in the bullpen. John's nasty. Well, John actually gets rocked in the bullpen, but everybody's good in the bullpen. It just goes.
I'm not gonna like bash Snell because he was right. He didn't have the slider wasn't sliding, and he had to kind of adjust that game plan. I'm definitely frustrated with it. Obviously, I'm disappointed, but I can't sit here and say like, "Oh man, I wasn't expecting that at all." Like, you knew some walks were going to come. If you looked at the Mets' numbers against Snell going into the game, they had multiple guys with really good numbers against him. So I'm not surprised he gave up runs. I'm not surprised that he didn't have this long start. I'm just disappointed that it was like he just couldn't limit the walks. 6 walks. That's more hits. He didn't give up more hits than walks. He walked more guys than he gave up hits. Like, that's not good enough.
10 base runners and 3 1/3. 90 pitches. Like, very disappointing outing from Snell, especially after a second half. I didn't think he pitched well. And again, he didn't cost his team the game. Absolutely not. But only allowing two earned runs is kind of a miracle. But
right,
it just is an outing that you expect more from your game 2 starter. That's just all I gotta say about that. Ben, before we get to some super chats here and more of the game, got to thank our title sponsor here, Mark Nimitz. Without Mark, we don't have the wrap-up show. I know Mark is freaking out tonight because they lost. It's okay, Mark. Musgrove's pitching tomorrow. Hopefully everything's fine, but shout out to Mark Nimitz here. If you guys are shopping for auto, home, renters, or life insurance here in San Diego, really there's only one place to go, and it's Mark Nimitz, local San Diegan of Farmers Insurance. Mark, he can help you save $750 on your insurance. Just click the link below in the description to get to Mark Nimitz. Also, if you see all the information above us right there, mnimitz@farmersagent.com. That's mnimitz@farmersagent.com. When you reach out to Mark, let him know that John and Jim or Ben from the wrap-up show sent you. Ben, let's get to a couple supers here. Pedro says, do we win tomorrow's game, and what's the outcome? Already? All right. 15 minutes in, Ben, make a prediction.
Yeah, I think they win tomorrow's game. I think I'm definitely more confident in Musgrove than I am in Snell to go deep and give a quality start. I think that the offense, they have a much better chance of coming through consistently tomorrow against Bassett than against DeGrom tonight. I saw some people, on Twitter probably eating ice cream or something on their couch and saying, "Oh, Manny, he's not doing anything, and 100 miles an hour up, and he's swinging at it." It's like, okay, go hit DeGrom,
You
right?
try to
Like,
swing that.
I'd love to see you try to go do that. Yeah, I'm confident that this team can pull out the win tomorrow. Look, the Padres needed to get one off of Scherzer or DeGrom, one of them, and they did that. And now you got the matchup that at least I wanted. Musgrove and Bassett. I'm more confident in Musgrove over Bassett. I'm more confident in the Padres bullpen over the Mets bullpen. I mean, they literally put Edwin Diaz in the game right after DeGrom. Like, they didn't trust anyone else in that bullpen. Adam Ottavino almost crapped the bed there. So, like, literally. So, I mean, we're confident. I think me and you are. That's what I'm saying here. And I trust Joe. Like, there's no one I'd rather have on the mound tomorrow more than Joe Musgrove. Like, he wants it as much or even maybe more than we do. And maybe that's rare for some players, to be honest.
No, I'm with you. I think the outcome of tonight's game with Edwin Diaz, I have no fucking idea what Buck Showalter was doing, putting him back out there. Like, what? Like, he was at 19 pitches, and they put him back out there. And I saw a stat from somebody on Twitter. I think it was Danny Vietti. He said that the 4 outings this year that Edwin Diaz pitched 25 or more pitches, he did not pitch the next day. He pitched 28 tonight. Obviously, he's going to be available for tomorrow. It's an elimination game. But that is something to look at. That's something that is going to be a talking point for tomorrow, and something in the game that you have to look and wait for is that if they bring in Edwin Diaz, how is Edwin Diaz going to be after he pitched 28 pitches today? And I still think that if the Padres kept it to 3-2, Diaz is trying to close out that game, and who knows what happens there. So I don't know what Buck Showalter was doing there. And you're right. The only relievers that they trust is Ottavino and Diaz out of that bullpen. So you're going to need length out of Bassett tomorrow.
Yeah, and Joely Rodriguez, they just put him on the IL. He was one of their guys, at least in the Braves series. They kept going to him.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, Hader hasn't pitched yet. He's fresh. He hasn't given up a run in his last 10 games. Garcia's had the day off. Tim Hill hasn't pitched in this series yet. Like, they have their top guys available. Manaea in some, emergency situation. Like, the Padres pitching staff is in a better spot than the Mets.
Yeah. I think Martinez is available too. I don't think that an elimination game is going to stop him from going out there or from Bob Melvin using him. And I feel confident with Joe Musgrove. I'm with you. I think there's not a guy I'd want on the mound for this Padres team in an elimination game other than Yu Darvish. Then Joe Musgrove's the guy. Like, if you were to tell me at the beginning of the season, hey, guess what? You're going to have Joe Musgrove on an elimination game in the postseason, regardless of round. Will you take that? I go, yeah, I take that right now. You feel confident with Joe on the mound, and you're not facing DeGrom and you're not facing Scherzer in an elimination game. You just went through them in game 1 and game 2. You did what you needed to do. You got the split, and you don't have to face either of those guys tomorrow. So that's got to be a little bit of a let off. Not saying Chris Bassett sucks. Like, Chris Bassett still's a good pitcher. He's just not in that,
he struggled last time out.
A guy. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. And hopefully tomorrow Padres can get an early lead. And I trust Joe along with Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove are the 2 guys I trust on this team in the rotation that can give you length and that can go 6 innings and that can suck it up and not, walk the world and get through 6 and fight through 6. So I feel
Yeah.
very confident. I'm not going to say that it's an easy win tomorrow. By no means am I saying that, but I feel very confident with Joe on the mound, and with what transpired today for the Mets bullpen, that makes me feel confident going into tomorrow. Let's
Yeah,
see here.
Musgrove's, given up, like, 1 run in his last 22 innings.
Yep.
Um, I He's not gonna be someone who's gonna go in there and walk a million people. Like, you
No,
you
he
have
won't.
confidence that he's gonna keep you in the game. He's done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been some tough stretches this year for Musgrove, just like any pitcher, but he has kept the Padres in pretty much every game. The one game I can think of is maybe that Phillies game where he just wasn't on it, but I think that was right after he had COVID, so, like, this
The
guy.
only thing that I worry about, is the adrenaline factor with him. Like, is if he can keep his emotions in check going into tomorrow's game. Because, dude, you got to
Well,
think about
I
this.
think
Like,
I think the emotions can help him. His emotions are different than Snell. Snell, it
right.
feels like he's
Snell goes all
mentally
over the
out of
place.
it when
Right. He's
things.
done.
Yeah.
Right.
Musgrove,
And,
he'll just get pissed off and then just keep attacking. I feel like it's
mhm.
2 different mentalities there.
Yo, you're right. Absolutely. I'm just, my only concern is if, and I trust Joe just to get locked in. It's a different beast in the postseason, man. Like, it is just different, and that adrenaline rush that you get, especially in an elimination game, is something I'm sure now me and you can't relate to, but I'm sure it's something that players are like, I didn't think that that was going to be a thing. So
Mhm.
that's the only thing I worry about tomorrow. But I still have faith that Joe can get that under control, and I feel confident with him on the mound. I just do. Thank you, Steve. Is it Steven? Steven, I think. Thank you for the super chat, man. He says the Mets were crying last night and tonight. They are happy. Let them enjoy because tomorrow is their last game and they are out. Thanks for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. Dude, this is the postseason. This is the postseason, man. One day you think this team's going to go win the World Series. Next day you think it's over. Like, that is just how it goes. Every game in the postseason, every time a team wins or a team loses, the fan base thinks it's either going to be over in 2 seconds or the team's going to win the World Series. That's just how it is in the postseason. All right, Ben. Let's get to I got to get to, there was a key point in this game where I felt like they had DeGrom on the ropes. Runners at second and third, 1 out. Manny was up and he struck out.
First and third, I think, or was it
First
second
and
and
third,
third?
sorry. No, it's
Okay.
first and third with 1 out.
Yeah.
And they didn't score there.
Yep.
And that
Manny
was
and Bell struck out. Yep.
Manny and Bell struck out. Well, that was in the what? Was that in the 5th inning or the
5th.
6th? 5th
Fifth.
inning is right. 5th inning. So 5th inning, DeGrom kind of all over the place. Soto just had a big hit. Profar, who's been great this series. I mean, Profar's dive earlier in that inning, like,
Mhm.
could have been something we would be absolutely talking about all show tonight if they end up winning this game, but it's not. And Manny's up with less than 2 outs and he strikes out. I'm not saying Manny sucks. I'm not saying it. But I will say, so far in this series, there have been moments where Manny has an opportunity to really cash in here. And so far, he's not come through. Not saying that he's not going to do that tomorrow and everything's fine. But so far, there have been big moments, even a couple in this game, where Manny had an opportunity to drive in either the go-ahead run or a tying run or make a big hit, and he has not done it. He has 1 hit in the series, and it's a home run, but it's a home run when they're up 6-0. So, Ben, what do you think about that?
I think that's reasonable to say that. Does it feel like that Dodger series at Petco where, he came up a little bit he was striking out a lot in that series? That's kinda
Yes.
what it feels like here.
Yes.
Um, but if we're gonna say that, I think you gotta give him credit for getting to Bell tonight in that 9th inning. Some guys would have swung at some of those Ottavino, breaking balls, and he just laid off of them.
Mhm.
I know Ottavino was being wild, but I think it was 3-2 in that situation. And he was behind in the count, I wanna say, at one point, and he worked the walk. So I'll give him credit for that. Made some good defensive plays as well, but, I mean, that's not surprising because it's Manny. But yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. I think him, you could say Soto at times in this series. Crony doesn't have a hit yet in this series. That's been disappointing. Yeah, people in my Twitter mentions are really trying to make me get on him. Cronenworth-less, they like to say. He's not Cronenworth-less, by the way. Very
Yeah.
worthy to this team. But yeah, there's been multiple guys. It's not just Manny, and you hope that you don't have to rely on Trent Grisham hitting a home run tomorrow to be, some of the offense, right?
Right. And something that John says it a lot, and I just echo it. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Mm.
That is how I look at it here. And you know, I tell it like it is. If Manny doesn't get hit with the big situation, I'm gonna say Manny wasn't good in that situation because that's the truth. Like Manny is the MVP of this team. He is arguably the MVP of the National League. When you're up in a situation where you are have runners at first and third with less than 2 outs, I'm sorry, you got to get the runner in. If Grisham was up, we'd be crushing Grisham right now. Or if Cronenworth was up and he couldn't get a runner in with less than 2 outs, we'd be crushing Grisham right now. Okay, I get it. I understand Manny's done everything he can for this team in the regular season. That's done. It's the postseason now. When there's a runner on third with less than 2 outs, you got to get that guy in. And Manny tonight was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, and he had 2 opportunities to drive in runs off DeGrom, and he struck out both times. He has 1 hit in the series. It's not been a good series for Manny. Doesn't say that he can't come tomorrow and have a huge fucking home run because he absolutely can. But so far in this series, Manny's come up in big situations, mostly tonight because yesterday was a laugher, but he's come up in big situations and he didn't deliver. Okay. So that is something that hopefully tomorrow he has a big moment. So this team we're not talking about Manny going 0 for in a series versus the Mets and the Padres lose. Because if that happens, like it sucks because Manny had a great year. But if Manny doesn't produce in this series and they win, that's fine. If he doesn't produce and they lose, it's a talking point.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, we should be talking about that if that happens tomorrow. You bring up that situation, they lose, and Manny and Soto don't come through, or one of them doesn't come through.
I'm still waiting for I'm still waiting for a big Soto moment. Like I know, like Soto had a couple hits tonight. That's great, but he also had an opportunity late in the game with a runner on second to tie the game, drive that run in, struck out. Or no, he grounded out to second. I think
grounded out to Diaz. I think, yeah,
a ground out to Diaz. So,
I mean, he should have probably been expecting slider. I think in that situation, that's all that Diaz was throwing him. I think in that
he hung one there once. He hung one. I think it was a 1-0 pitch, and I think he hung it up in the zone. And I was like, oh fuck, because that was the pitch.
Right.
But I'm sorry, like that's it right now. You saw the Mets middle of the order tonight. They led the way. I don't know exactly what they were, but you had a home run from Lindor, you had a home run from Pete Alonso, Starling Marte. I don't think he did anything tonight, but you get my point. It's Lindor and Alonso against Soto and Manny, and tonight, Alonso and Lindor, they were much better than Soto and Manny. So,
yeah,
that's just what it is. Let's get back here.
Well, those were the big. Yeah, keep going through the comments. Those were the big 2 situations. I mean, the 5th inning didn't come through those 2 strikeouts, and then the 7th inning. I'm blanking on what the score was at that time, but yeah, Soto not coming through, grounding out to Diaz.
It was still 3-2. It was still a 3-2 game. It was when Diaz first came into the game in the 7th, and you're like, oh my god, they're going to pitch Diaz 3 innings, and then I believe Profar got on, and I don't know how he got to second. I forget how he get to second because I know he was on second.
Nola got on. Nola
got on. Yes.
Profar grounded out. Nola got to second on that play.
That's how it happened.
Yeah.
So he had a runner
at second.
That's right,
because they were talking about Nola not really being fast on the bases.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like
Soto,
5 straight, I think, sliders, in that at bat for Soto there before he grounded out.
Yeah, So again, it's just you had opportunities tonight, and it wasn't like Cronenworth was up in those spots. It wasn't like Austin Nola was up in those spots, and it wasn't like Brandon Drury was up in those spots. It was Manny Machado and Juan Soto, and they went over tonight in those spots. So thanks, Steven, for the super chat here. It says Manny, Soto, hopefully Will Myers, Musgrove, and everyone comes in for tomorrow. I think the season keep on going. I mean, yeah, it's literally everybody, all hands on deck tomorrow. It's all hands on deck tomorrow. All right, Ben. I think one of the big talking points of this game, besides Snell, and I gotta get this out of the way real quick here. Umpires blaming for losses or for the reasons why pitchers pitch bad is like, stop it.
It's part of the here. I'll say this. It's part of what goes into guys kind of snowballing, but it's not the reason why they snowball. Like, I posted the clips of Chris Guccione, who wasn't great tonight, I don't think, of him missing
he wasn't.
calls,
He's shit.
and that put an extra runner on or put a runner in scoring position, and then McNeil has a single that brings in an extra run. But that run would have scored anyway if that guy would have gotten on, because you gave up a couple more hits after that.
Right. The umpire was shit tonight. We can all agree on that, right? But is he the reason why they lost this game? No fucking chance. Is he the reason why Blake Snell walked 6 guys? No chance. Maybe he would have walked 5 guys. Maybe you walked 5 guys, but who knows if another pitch would have been hit. Like, it just stop blaming the umpire for losses, okay? Even though it is a weird stat that Guccione, the last, I think, 15 times or something like that he's been an umpire for the Padres, they've lost. Or was it 9? But it was a lot, right?
I didn't see that stat.
There was a stat out there that I think it might have been 9. 9, or it was a very high number. And it was every time Guccione has been the umpire behind home plate for a Padres game, the Padres lost. It's just a weird coincidence. It's not the reason why they lost tonight. It's not the reason why Blake Snell only lasted 3 1/3 innings. It's not a reason why the Mets scored 7 runs. It's not a reason why the Padres only scored 3. It just wasn't. Okay? And it wasn't a reason why Adrian Morejon loaded the bases. And it wasn't a reason why Bob Melvin didn't realize that he already faced 3 batters minimum. And it wasn't the reason why Bob Melvin fell asleep and didn't take Morejon out of the game.
Yeah. I mean,
that was bad.
I don't think – you're probably joking. I don't think that Bomel fell asleep there.
It's a joke, but
no, I know.
I didn't think it was good.
Right. I don't agree that Morejon – with the decision for Morejon to be left in for that 4th batter when he walked those 2 guys there. I know one of them was questionable, but he just wasn't consistent there inside the strike zone. Every pitch was a fastball, it seemed like. The Mets knew what was coming. And for them to bring in Pierce Johnson to face, I think it was Vogelback after that as well. So you don't even bring in a lefty to come in like Tim Hill or someone like that to face lefties after McNeil. I thought you should have brought in a Tim Hill, or who's the other lefty? It would have been Manaea. So not Manaea, but probably Hill. Have him face McNeil instead of having Morejon just throw fastballs to McNeil. McNeil's going to hit that. The guy hit 326 this year.
I think, and this is just me with what happened tonight with Morejon. Do you think he had it when he came in that game after his first batter?
No, and then I think he got flustered with the whole pitch calm thing.
So that's my point.
It's like he forgot It's like he forgot how to just look at this NOLA sign, and he just got flustered by it.
If you and me and literally every Padres fan watching, after the first batter that Morejon faces, you're thinking he doesn't have it. Bob Melvin, and this is in the regular season, okay? Postseason, you need to treat every game, I feel like it's, we can't look towards the tomorrow. It's got to be in the moment right now. And for me, after the first batter, I know there's a 3-batter minimum. After the first batter, you need to have someone up in the pen ready to go for the second that Morejon is done with his 3rd batter, because you got to take him out of that game. You can't wait in the postseason. You can't trust these guys because you're a player's manager. You have to have a quick hook, especially with relievers. And the second that Morejon faced his first batter, you knew, and everybody knew, that he did not have it. So you need to have someone up in the pen right away. Instead, he waited and he had plenty of time. It wasn't like the next 2 batters were walked on 8 straight pitches. I mean, Canada had a long at bat with Morejon, and then the pitch track. There was plenty of time to get up somebody in the bullpen. I know Pierce Johnson came in and he gave up it as well, but still keeping Morejon out there for a 4th batter after he just walked 2, gave up a hit. That to me in a 3-2 game still, like, what are we doing?
I agree. Yeah.
And
Who would you have brought
maybe
in?
it didn't.
Who
No, and I was gonna say maybe it doesn't make a difference because the guy that they brought in probably it would like Pierce Johnson. He just did the same thing Moorhone did. Gave up a couple runs, gave up a couple hits, so it would have been maybe the same result. But I just can't live with seeing Moorhone stay out there for a 4th guy after he's walked 2 straight guys and having a bullpen. I can't. I don't care who it is. You have to make a quick hook there. You know he doesn't have it. And the 4th batter, boom, base hit, 2-run score.
Yeah.
Like it just like
I
that
did
to
have
me,
something.
I just
I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree. I would have went with probably Tim Hill there, but maybe they're looking at, oh, he didn't pitch well in that last outing against the Giants. I have no idea, but I think he should have been warming there. I just don't agree having Pierce Johnson come in that game. But your point, it's not about who comes in. It was you don't let him face that 4th guy. You don't let him face Jeff McNeil when he's not.
no.
He just doesn't have it. The fastball, it's not there.
Right.
And he
And
looked,
Charles
for me at
said,
least, clearly he looked flustered.
right. And Charles, it's like we had pitchers for tomorrow. Gotta let Moorhone try. No. I'm not this is not a try it out moment in your season. Like you're in the postseason here. You can't just let guys try to get through it in the postseason. Like, no. That's not how this fucking works, bro. You got to have guys
It was
ready to
3
go.
to
And you
2
have
at
to have a
that
quick
point.
hook.
You're in the game. It's 3 to 2. Yeah, you gotta pull him.
Yes, this wasn't a 7-1 game. Okay, like you just said, Ben. It's a 3-2 game. Okay, and he's faced his max. If anything, I mean, if anything, I'm bringing in Suarez. There you go. I'm bringing in Suarez or Garcia because you still have a chance to win that game. Are you looking?
Yeah,
Are you
but
not bringing them in because you're scared about tomorrow?
yeah. I'm not. It's not a must-win game. I'm bringing in a reliever that's fresh, just someone else, not Moorhone for the 4th batter. Like that's what it is. I
Well,
would have
yeah,
stayed away
and
from Torres and Garcia. It's a right on left matchup there. I would have went with Tim Hill. But the bottom line is you just can't stick with a guy who walked 2 guys in a row, and you're bringing up the NL batting title guy. That's I thought it was just a dumb move or not move, if that makes sense.
right, and I'm with you there. I thought the move was or lack of move was like whoa, like you got to have a quicker hook here, and maybe that's and maybe that if you look at Bob Melvin's history in the postseason, maybe that's why he's only 11. He's 11-18 overall in postseason history. Like I obviously you got to look at the players he's had, but still tonight in that moment, Moorhone walks 2 guys. Clearly doesn't have it after the 1st batter. You don't pull him after a third batter. You let him face the 4th batter with the bases loaded. It was a bad move. It was a bad move by Melvin. I think it was. All right, hold on here, Ben. I have to pull up.
I was trying to find quotes from Bomel on.
You want to listen to Bo Melvin?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on.
Oh, he does have quotes here. If you want me to just read it while you're getting the ad up.
No. I have Bob Melvin speaking.
Okay.
I said you want to hear him. I'll pull him up here. Whoops. Yeah, because I want to hear Bob Melvin stinking in that inning with Moorhone. All right, here we go.
Just throwing strikes. I mean, what do you have? 6 walks, limited the damage for as much traffic as he had out there. But, one of the few games we've seen here recently where he wasn't as proficient at throwing the ball over the plate.
Talk about some of those decisions in the 7th inning. Why go to Moorhone there? And
no, we were comfortable with him. I mean, it was going to be, you're not going to get your matchup with Lindor, switch hitting. And then we're going to take him through McNeil and then do something different, try to turn Escobar around. We just didn't throw strikes either.
It being where it is now, one game kind of all on the line.
Yeah.
What are your kind of thoughts going into that with Joe on the mound?
We feel good. I mean, Joe's pitched well for us all year. I mean, we'll be in pretty good shape with our bullpen as well. But yeah, I think this team takes a lot of confidence with Joe.
I'm gonna stay with that, Kevin.
Matchups with the velocity tonight. What do you think of some of the at-bats that you guys had?
You know, we made him work. He made some pitches when he had to. Started leaning. You mean talk about Jake? Started leaning on his slider there towards the end. You know, the lefties were trying to push him away a little bit. Righties were trying to get him close to him, but he changed kind of what he was doing, you know, midstream there and started going to his break and stuff and ended up being effective. Probably got one more inning than it looked like he was going to have as far as the pitch count went.
When Manny's chasing certain pitches like this, is that Manny trying to do too much?
That, and I think, you know, Jacob's pretty good about throwing that fastball away and extending the slider off of it. So I think he pitched him pretty well.
Over here on the right, Bill, second row.
First 2 innings, Jacob deGrom was tough. And then after that, you guys were, you know, trying to get some runs off him. How good was he?
Well, I mean, he came out throwing 102, 101, 102. So obviously he had a good fastball early on. But I think what really made him effective later on is he changed kind of what he was doing, started leaning on his slider a lot more, and kept us off balance that way.
Gonna stay here, Dennis.
How much were you hoping for multiple innings in that spot for Merhone when you first put him in?
We were. I mean, really Escobar was going to be the kind of deciding factor on where we went. But, you know, Lindor bloops one into, it gets a hit to right and then 2 walks and, you know, trying to get a lefty out, couldn't do it. So ended his day. But because of the fact that we didn't cover much with Blake, we were going to try to, you know, obviously try to extend Martinez as we did too. And we're going to try to potentially do that with Morhone.
Obviously, Josh Hader hasn't pitched in this series yet. Getting the ball to him, I think you talked yesterday about Suarez kind of emerging as the 8th inning guy, but what kind of a challenge do you anticipate that being if you do get the chance to maybe put Josh?
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow he's going to be in this game and, you know, Suarez potentially multiple too. So, you know, our 2 most effective relievers will be part of this tomorrow.
Far left there, Jake.
The Mets have shown a willingness in the first couple of games to challenge you guys on the bases. What gives you confidence that tomorrow you'll be able to control their running game?
Yeah, Joe's a little bit quicker to the plate. He's tougher to run on. So he's probably our best as far as controlling the running game. He fields his position well, does a lot of the intangible things that maybe we weren't as good at here in the first couple games.
You're going to go over here to Hannah in the middle?
I'm just curious, from your perspective as a manager, what's different about going into a winner-take-all game that's at the end of a series versus just a one-game winner-take-all?
Well, because there's a couple games that's, you know, played ahead of it, and there's some, you know, it's more like a regular series that is tied up at 1-1 as opposed to just going into one game. Just feels a little bit different because baseball is played in series.
That was aggressive by Bally Sports. Jesus. So I think you heard it there when he said, yeah, we didn't get length out of Snell, so it changed our approach for the rest of the game. Like you needed multiple innings from other guys. And that was my point, is that by not going at least 5 from Snell, it changed their entire approach for the rest of the game. I'm not saying that Morhone still would have done the same thing or whatever, but it might have changed, like, okay, you're going to put in Martinez here for maybe 2 instead of Morhone. And then if they end up tying the game up, you don't use Morhone, you use Garcia or Suarez, or if they get the lead, you're using Garcia or Suarez to get to Hader. So that was my point there about, you know, and why I didn't think Snell pitched great tonight, and it was a bad outing from him, I think, because of he didn't give this team length, and he didn't give this team an opportunity to line up the rest of the bullpen, and they had to go emergency code, like code red, in the 3rd inning or the 4th inning.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that with Snell going short, here's a question: who would you have gone to? Let's say Snell goes 5 innings tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think their plan was after that? It was still going to be Suarez, Garcia late in the game there?
Well, I
If
think
let's say it's like
yeah.
3-2 still because the Padres offense didn't come through till, ninth. I still think Morahone would have went in the game. I think Martinez would have went in the game. Like, they were gonna use Morahone, I think, anyway. Like, didn't Bomel say there? Like, they tried to get Martinez and Morahone multiple innings in that game. It felt like they were planning on trying to do that.
No, yeah, you're probably right. I mean, Morahone was probably going to pitch this game regardless. But maybe it's different matchups, instead of the matchups that he had there when he went out there because of just how Snell pitched. I mean, you're probably right, but at the same time, it's hard for me to say that it's not different if Snell gives you 5 instead of 3 1/3. Because obviously it's hindsight and we have no idea what it would happen because but I just feel like if Snell went 5 and if he went even if he went 90 pitches, 5 innings, 1 earned run or 2 earned runs, and whatever, like when Snell left the game, it was still a tie game.
Mhm.
And Martinez gave up the home run to Pete Alonso. So maybe maybe Martinez doesn't face Pete Alonso. Maybe it's still a tie game, or maybe the Padres get ahead. Like, so that to me is from the pitching side is that if Blake Snell went at least 5, it changes everything. I think.
I think it changes definitely, matchup wise and stuff. You don't know where they're going to be in the order, after the 5th inning. I think
because I thought Martinez was good. Besides that one home run off Alonso.
Yeah,
Like he came
and
in
that
immediately,
pitch,
got 2 outs and 3 pitches.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he hung that pitch, but wasn't that still down on the zone?
It was down in the zone. Pete Alonso is it's just a good hitter. Like it was a down in the zone. It was a little hanger, but but you're right. It was down in the zone. It wasn't like a middle in, just fucking rock me fastball or rock me changeup. It was still down in the zone, and Pete Alonso had to go get that. But maybe if Snell goes 5, maybe Martinez doesn't face Alonso. Maybe it's a different pitch sequence to Alonso. Whatever the case may be. I just think it's different. So, I mean, it is what it is, but
I still don't agree with him talking about how they were just. I mean, yeah, obviously they were trying to have Morahone get through McNeil, and they weren't going to have the matchup against Lindor, and then they wanted to switch Escobar around. I understand that, but the bases are loaded in that situation.
that he did.
Yeah, you see Morahone's not pitching well. Yeah, you can try to get him through McNeil, but I'm trying to get McNeil out, and then you take your chances with Lindor, whatever side, a righty if you're bringing in Tim Hill, or a lefty if you're bringing in Pierce. Then you take your chances with that. But kind of like how we're trying to win every game as a manager, I'm trying to win that at bat. I'm trying to get the NL batting leader out, get him out with the bases loaded there, see what happens.
Well, also the thing too is
I still disagree with that.
You have to see that Morahone, the only pitch he's throwing and the only pitch he can throw for strikes is fastball. Like that's it. He was not throwing his breaking pitch for a strike, and they were not biting. Every batter just eliminated that pitch. They said if he's going to throw a breaking ball, we're not swinging. It was fastball. And when he hit rough, he hit rough, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That can't happen. It just can't, because Darren Ruff has been horseshit for the Mets, and he was on base twice tonight. Okay. Blake Snell walking the 9-hitter. I know it didn't result to any runs, but still walking the 9-hitter. You can't do that. Not in the postseason. You can't walk the 9-hitter to get to the top of the order, especially with 2 outs. What are you doing? And so when you see, I'm talking about Bob Melvin, and Nola should say it as well. Like, this guy's only got his fastball, right? You have to be ready to make a move very quickly. And by very quickly, I mean the second he's done with his third batter. So, and maybe it wouldn't have mattered, right? Maybe Pierce Johnson comes in still, and after the third batter, and McNeil gets a hit anyway, right? It wouldn't have, but still, at least you got to make that quick hook. All right, Ben, I got to get to Aura here. Hold on one second here. Do, do, do. All right. All right, let's get to Aura here. If you guys want to live a healthy lifestyle, go to Aura right now, ora.organic. That's ora.organic. They have everything you need. They got fish oil pills, omega-3 oils, protein powders, pre-workout powders. If you see on the screen right there, it's the new Work It plant-based nutrition protein powder. They have 3 flavors. It's chocolate, vanilla, and unflavored protein powder. 26 grams of protein per scoop. Go there right now. Will, he's a local San Diegan. He's texting me and John all the time. He's a diehard Padres fan. He's freaking out. And he would absolutely love your support. So when you go there, build your routine. You see that in the bottom right-hand corner. You'll get 30% off your first order. That's www.aura.organic. Trust us. When you go there, get everything you need, live a healthy lifestyle. You'll definitely thank us later. All right. I feel like kind of tonight was, you kind of felt it. Like, you kind of felt like this series was always going to go 3. If they beat Scherzer and DeGrom 1-2, you're like, what? You know? And I'm not even worried about a DS matchup with you-know-who at this moment in time. I don't care about game 1 starters. I don't give a shit. It's all about tomorrow. It's all about Musgrove. And everybody's on deck. And you heard from Bob Melvin there, like Josh Hader and Suarez and Garcia will pitch tomorrow unless Musgrove decides, fuck it, and I'm going to go full 9, which would be legendary.
Yeah. Well, even then, I don't think that would happen. Like,
yeah, no, I don't. Unless they're up literally 9-0, and Musgrove's thrown 75 pitches through 8 innings.
Yeah.
Even then, he'd probably still take him out.
Yeah, got to save him for the next series. Yeah, but there's no saving. I agree. There's no saving. Hader, doesn't matter what the situation is. If the Padres find themselves losing by 3 runs at some point in the game, Suarez and Hader, they're still going to go pitch to keep it where it's at. Like, there's no saving for the next day. Like, you have a day off on Monday if you win tomorrow. Okay, like, there's no saving the season. It's right here. Any game that happened before this doesn't matter. The best pitchers are going to be available. You want your best lineup out there, your best options. Guys aren't going to get a whole lot of sleep probably tonight. But look, this is what you live for. This is game 3, winner take all. You treat it like a game 1 of a series. That's all. Wild card, just how it was in the old format. Just how it was in the old format. Winner take all wild card. There you go.
You got to think about it too.
You got to go out and get it.
And it's another thing you could think about is why game 1 was so important. If you lose game 1, they pitch Bassett today. And if you beat Bassett, that's great. But guess what? They have DeGrom game 3. So winning game 1 was real. I mean, winning game 1 was everything because you control the series. You make them pitch DeGrom in game 2 instead of game 3. Now you're facing Bassett in game 3 and you get the matchup you want. Like, you want to have Joe on the mound versus Chris Bassett. Joe on the mound versus DeGrom, that's fucking tough. but you know what I mean? Like, not saying DeGrom was like anything special tonight because he really wasn't, but he still went 6, gave up only 2, and did what he needed to be done. So I feel good about tomorrow. I know everybody's. I know it's a nervous time, dude. Like, it's just gonna be, everyone's gonna be a wreck. It's gonna be bad. And tomorrow you're gonna need big performances out of Manny. You gotta have big performance out of Manny, Soto, Musgrove. Hopefully Josh Hader's there. And if you tell me right now Josh Hader gets the ball in the 9th inning, I'd feel pretty damn. I'd take that right now.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the Helsley stuff, how he choked, like, that's in the back of my mind. But I'm confident in Hader. I'm confident in Suarez.
Yeah.
I'm confident in pretty much every one of their big relievers. From Tim Hill, I'm good with him. I'm good with Hader. I'm good with Suarez. I'm good with Garcia. And I'm obviously confident in Musgrove. Like, again, I'll say it again. There's no guy that I'd rather have out there than Joe Musgrove on the mound. He wants it just as much as we do. This guy, he's not just doing this as a profession. You know, this guy was a fan like us growing up. So, like, there's no one I'd rather have. This is the perfect story to beat the Mets. Game 3, you lift your team, and you get to go face the Dodgers in the NLDS. Like, that's the perfect story. So he's gonna
Yeah.
be pumped up, and I'm ready for it. It's gonna be a nervous day. Like, we're all nervous probably, but at the same time, I'm confident that the guys will show up. I just don't know if the other team's gonna show up. That I guess that's, the big question. If they
Oh
show
yeah,
up,
no,
then it's gonna be really close. It's just a question for me of Bassett. Does he make mistakes like Scherzer did the other night, or
Mhm.
does he pitch really well?
Right. I trust Musgrove. I trust that this team's going to come in tomorrow. I think that I think it's just going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout on either way. And who do you think's in the lineup tomorrow? Do you think it's the same lineup, or do you think that they put Will in there?
No, yeah, I think Will goes in there for Drury. Your best
Okay.
defense, put him in there. I think Grisha's in there. I think it's probably pretty close to the same game 1 lineup and probably identical, to be honest.
Hmm.
Bassett's a righty, right? Scherzer's a
Yep.
righty. I think
Yep.
DeGrom was a righty today, but yeah, I think you put Myers back in there. You have Bell probably DH, or maybe they have Drury DH, and you have Bell as a switch hitter off the bench. I don't know. But yeah, it's gonna be Profar, Soto, Manny. Cronenworth's gonna bat 5th, maybe 6th, and the last 3 are gonna be Kim, Grisham, and Nola. Anyone saying Campy, I don't think you throw him in that spot. Nola, he's been fine. You go with Musgrove. Who is Musgrove most comfortable with behind the plate? It's Austin Nola. And so that's who's catching tomorrow. You don't go
Yeah.
with offense. You
No.
go with who's Musgrove most comfortable with.
Yeah. You go with deep. You go with, and I know Nola hasn't thrown literally anybody out ever, but I
Musgrove
agree.
works quicker to the plate than Darvish does.
Yes. And you can't, that would be such a what the fuck balls move if they put Campusano out there in an elimination game. Like, what?
I know Nola hasn't thrown guys out, but I'd be more worried with Campy behind the plate
Yeah.
than Nola in any situation.
Absolutely.
It's nothing against Campy personally or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
just the experience. Musgrove likes Nola more. I love that he's taken on the leader role and he's worked with Campy and helped develop him and all that, but that they're going to Nola tomorrow. I just don't see how they go with Campusano.
Yeah. And this is what everyone wanted. You get Musgrove on the mound in an elimination game, 1 game winner take all. Prime time tomorrow, 4:07 first pitch. And I'm with you. I felt much more confident about a Musgrove in a game 3 than a Blake Snell in a game 2 up 1-0 in the series. Like that's just how I felt. And it showed tonight. Thanks, Steve, for the super chat. Will Ben wear his leather boy scout uniform?
I have no idea what is he talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about, Steve.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Leather boy scout uniform. I have no idea. Okay. Well, Ben, this was I wish we were celebrating a series win and we could have told John he's soft for not joining us because the Padres would have swept the Mets, but
here's the thing. If they would have won, John would have been on here. He would have taken like the third quarter of the Aztecs game, he would have came on and started talking. But
for sure, yeah, he would have.
But that they lost, I'm locked into the Aztecs Hawaii game.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing too, like, and it's unfortunate for you, but like if they won tonight, then everyone would have said John's not able to come on the wrap-up show ever again because it would have been, you're now with the wrap-up show forever. Like
Right.
John could not have come on at all.
Right. Oh boy.
Let's see here, Retod. Oh boy. The Padres pull it off tomorrow. I want 2 minutes of Coach Quintero impressions. Will you commit to that? Absolutely.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Look, by the way,
You got to talk high school football though.
Yeah, the high school football teams out there are really good. Helix High, the quarterback for Helix High has been really good lately. I don't like the way that he's been running the ball of late, but I like their defensive secondary. It's really good. It's shown up in the past couple weeks. And I love Coach. I love you, Coach. I've worked with Coach for years, and I saw him at an Aztec game a couple weeks ago. Said hi to the old ball coach. How you doing? Hi, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
So yes, I will do a full 2 minutes of coach. Full 2 minutes of coach. All right, hold on a second here, Ben. I gotta get to Eric Lanier before we head out here. Anything else from tonight's game that you can think of?
No, I mean, we touched on Manny and Soto. We touched on Snell. Touched on Morahone. Obviously, I would have had Tim Hill in there. Got to Bomel. We're confident. Both of us are confident in Musgrove tomorrow. No, I mean, right after this, I'm gonna go do my episode, my reaction, another reaction live here. So anyone wants
Nice.
to join that, feel free. Just
Yeah,
Talking
plug your
Friars
stuff.
here on YouTube. Social media at Talking Friars as well. So yeah, just no, I think we've hit on everything.
All right, cool. A couple more things here before we get out of here. Just wanted to thank our buddy Omar. If you want to reach out to Omar for any loan or mortgage needs, 619-387-7798. Go to his website right now, www.loansbyomar.com. Omar's a huge Padres fan. So when you reach out to Omar, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap-Up Show sent you. Also, we have a podcast, Friars on Base on Fansided, the official podcast of the Wrap-Up Show. It's sponsored by Eric Lanier. He's the founder of Higher Impact Financial, and it's in San Diego. He's a San Diego born and raised. He went to Mount Carmel High. He is a huge Padres fan. Eric's mission is to align his clients' values and passions with their finances. With so many ideas and noise about how to manage finances well, it can get pretty overwhelming. So you need to be tailored to your certain approach for big financial goals, and you need professionals who are 100% for you. That's Eric Lanier. Eric Lanier is a fiduciary. He will only make recommendations that truly make sense for you and are in the best interest. He specializes in retirement planning for individuals and couples who look to retire in 5 years or less, like me or Ben. He's only 19, but still. Eric will help you put together a plan by looking at your 401k, your pension, Social Security, and more to make sure you're on track to an early retirement. So when you reach out to Eric, let him know that John and Jim and Ben Fadden from the Wrap-Up Show sent you. All right, man. Hopefully tomorrow night they win. We're drinking. If they win tomorrow, what are you going to do? You're going to freak out, or are you going to be freaking out because they have to face the Dodgers next round?
Kind of both. Yeah. I mean, if they win tomorrow, and let's say the offense comes out and Musgrove pitches well and everyone in the bullpen pitches well, like it's a really solid win like game 1 was, yeah, I'm going to be really excited and be very confident that this team can hang in there with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But if they win, I mean, I'm going to be happy either way because, hey, they moved on. That's all that matters. But I think we can realize that we're not going to be the favorites. And I'm not going to expect the Padres to beat the Dodgers in an NLDS. I'm going to expect them to be competitive, but I don't think I'm going to expect them to beat them regardless of what happens tomorrow because they haven't shown that they can do it all year.
Yep. It's winner take all postseason series, and anything can happen. Tomorrow is going to be a fucking shit show, and I hope it's the best shit show ever for everybody. All right, guys. Peace out. Follow Ben Fadden on Twitter at Talking Friars. Follow me on Twitter at Jim Russell SD. Unfollow John Schaefer. We got one super sticker here from Louise. Thank you, Louise, for the super sticker chat. Appreciate you there. I don't know if you're trying to send in a super chat, but if you are not, I don't know.
I don't see any.
I don't see any either. But thanks, Louise. Appreciate you for that one. So yeah, until tomorrow night, hopefully we're talking about a series win, and hopefully we're talking about Padres versus the Dodgers. Until then, peace.